This is the Oz Report for July 6th today from the CCP channel on live on Twitch. And hi to everyone that's listening to it later on YouTube and on the podcast. One of the big announcements that I want to make before we jump into the market is that the global PLEX market is coming sooner than expected, at least for me and a lot of other people. And that means that it's coming already this Monday, right? So make sure you understand that this means that all of your PLEX orders are going to be canceled, standing PLEX orders, and all of your fees are going to be refunded. So on day one, there's probably going to be mayhem on the PLEX market. But if you're selling PLEX, you have to relist it. If you're buying PLEX, make sure you're careful about people maybe posting wrong or fat-fingered orders. So day one is going to be a bit crazy. I'm sure it's going to take only a few hours to go back to normal, but that is one very, very important public service announcement that you need to consider, right? Now let's go to our dashboard and let's quickly do a run through of the EVE Online markets. All right. Overall, let's talk first about Moon Materials. So Moon Materials are down as they have been in the last few weeks quite regularly. They have been dropping, but this week they're down across the board. And if we're looking at R4, R8 Moon Materials, they're now trading very close to 50% of 52-week average. So if you're a buyer of ships, if you're a buyer of tier 2 modules, that is good news for you. Prices will continue to stay down with very, very cheap Moon Materials, especially since we're also seeing a Morphite coming down. More on that later, but I mean, we're seeing, vanadium and R16 Moon down 18%. We're seeing titanium and R8 Moon Material down 14%. We're seeing our atmospheric gases down 14% this week. It's in one of the most popular R4 Moon Materials. So Moon Materials continue to be in a space where they are rather cheap as a result of high adoption rates for Metanox moon mining. We've been talking about that for quite some time. Minerals are down another 4% this week, but you have to look at that, in a very differentiated way. For that, I'm going to go back into the game client and we're going to cover some of the content we started talking about last week, right? If we're looking at minerals, we have to look at pyrite. First of all, pyrite was buffed or nerfed depending on your viewpoint last week by CCP. The reprocessing rates were increased, so more pyrite would enter the system. And typically we would like to see a drop. And we did see a drop last week in pyrite prices, which ended up being probably a little bit of an overcorrection from a very high 33 price point down to about a 27% price point. This week already, we're seeing prices creep up again. So it looks like the target that CCP had to drop pyrite prices presumably significantly has not materialized yet. We're going to need another week or two of data here to see whether the impact really has been that low, but it seems like the speculation that was already going on in the community that this change might not be, it might be a drop in the hot bucket, it might be true, and more needs to be done to bring pyrite prices down. Again, as a reminder, the reason pyrite prices are so high because of Metanox adoption. Metanox passive moon mining does not create pyrite as a byproduct, and that's why the supply of pyrite has been hurting across New Eden. And pyrite is a very, very important component, especially in tier 1 production. And so that's why it is important that enough pyrite is available in the system, always with the downside that, with lower mineral prices, mining becomes less profitable. The other material we need to talk about is Morphite. And we discussed this on the CCP stream earlier, but Morphite was impacted massively by the March 18th patch. Since then, prices have dropped significantly, and CCP announced last week that the price drop was too high for them. They didn't intend it to drop so much. That's why they reduced the availability of Morphite a little bit last week in the patch, in the opposite direction as pyrite. And interestingly, Morphite had the exact same movement in that, yes, last week there was an initial reaction to the reduction in availability, prices spiked up. But since then, prices have come back down because that implementation or that change also was rather on the conservative side. And so overall, let's look at this another week or two, but looks like Morphite and Pyrite buffs or nerfs respectively haven't had a massive impact on the market yet, other than the typical speculation that you see going on in the market anyway, right? Now, moving on from minerals, I'm going to pull up the dashboard again. We also have a lot of movements in salvage. And if you're interested in the whole reason why salvage prices have been going up recently, I want to direct you to the earlier stream that we did on the CCP channel, where I had Sir Smashalot as a guest. Sir Smashalot, for those of you that don't know and haven't seen my interview with him, he is the largest industrialist in EVE. In December, he had an average trade volume of 7.5 trillion in that month. And he's very much focused on the salvage market and the structure rig market. And as we were discussing earlier, essentially the reason tier 1 salvage prices are going up are, one, he controls a large part of the market, but two, we are seeing some larger alliances moving across the galaxy, and that means structures being pulled down, structures being pushed up, rigs you can't take with you. So the demand for rigs is higher right now, and when the demand goes up and one person controls the market, that means that prices tend to spike if the availability is controlled. And that's why right now, dangerous territory, salvage, but another clear indicator that trading in salvage is just very interesting, because you have these clear peaks and troughs in the market in terms of supply and demand. And so if you want to get into trading, just make sure, if you look at the salvage market, you understand historical price structures, understand which salvage components are cheap right now, which ones are expensive, and let that govern your investment in the beginning. All right. And just be aware that there are some massive players in the salvage market throwing around trillions of ISK, and that might be impacting you as a small trader if you're just starting out. That doesn't mean you can't make a profit, but that means that sometimes there are unexpected market movements going on there that might be outside of your control, right? Let's see. The next thing we want to talk about is down here, the exploration loot, all right? The third part of the patch last week was that the ghost site components, the ghost site loot that goes into especially capital ships in a category called molecular forging tools and molecular forged materials, those were increased by CCP, and they were introduced to the new exploration upgrades in for soft space, right, in nullsec. And so essentially the TLDR is more of these are going to hit the market, and they're going to relieve the bottleneck. So prices came down last week, prices this week, molecular forging tools down 8%, so they're coming down more, but not crashing anymore. Interestingly, the advanced protective technologies section, which is also exploration loot, they dropped 20% this week, even though they weren't touched by CCP. All right. And the only explanation I have for that is that that's people speculating that if CCP is already targeting capital inputs here, they might also be targeting super capital inputs going forward, especially since that is what a lot of CSM members, including me, are advocating for, to bring super capital prices down. And that is the only reason beyond just, somebody needing cash for something of that category coming down. One other category I want to talk about is the advanced components right here. And that's mostly due to zero-point field manipulators. We've been talking a lot about zero-point field manipulators. They are the main component for the Barbaroga, and the Barbaroga being the new Triglavian Dreadnought and being the most popular ship to trade in the last 3 or 4 weeks, with what was it, a trillion? Let's see here. I need to look at the market dashboard. What was it? We have 700 and almost 800 billion ISK in Babaroga still being traded on the market. Over 1,000 built, so pretty massive. And about 2/3 of their cost right now comes from these 0-point field manipulators that come from Triglavian content, and they have come down about 10 to 15%. If we look at them right here in the game client, as you can see right here, they have been coming down. Nothing that's going to bring shave billions of Babaroga prices, but they have been coming down to the point where Babarogas are going to be available sub 9 billion very soon, as I would expect. So, we're starting to come down, and as I mentioned last week, there are a lot of people that are saying that it's never going to come down completely. So we'll keep monitoring that, and on one of the next shows, I'm going to have a deep dive on them. But for now, prices are easing up a little bit, and so expect Babaroga and other tier 2 Triglavian ships to be coming down soon as well, as a response to this. Not to where they were before, but at least easing up a little bit. All right. And I think if we take a look at my notes, I think that's all I wanted to cover in the Oz report today. Again, guys, the global PLEX market is going live already on Monday, so make sure you are prepared for PLEX orders coming down and for PLEX market to go nuts. In the long term, I don't think PLEX prices are going to be impacted by a ton, but just be sure that you're ready for this on day one, because it has the potential of a lot of a fat finger drama and unintended consequences. So yeah, that's the Oz report from the CCP stream today. We're going to return to the regular stream, and I'll see you guys on the Oz report next week.